Welcome to the Kerbal Space Program version 1.3. I am the Evil Red Queen, and today I'm going to try to set my first rover down on the Mun. I'm already in orbit because I assume, as you me, that you know how to get into orbit. So, what I have is a rover that I built, and I attached it to the bottom of my lander. Kind of like the Apollo, I guess. I think they attached it to the bottom. All 77 pounds of it. 77 pounds on the moon. But anyhow, we're already in orbit. It's fairly round. Not too bad. But we're going to go to the Mun, which is pretty simple, really. Turn your screen up like this. Put the Mun at the 3 o'clock position. And do a maneuver at the 6 o'clock position, and you are pretty much guaranteed, not warranted, guaranteed, to run into the Mun and get an intersect, which we did. So we're not real concerned about what kind of intersect at the moment. We're just going to do the initial burn, and then we'll do a secondary burn to set that orbit up kind of where we want it. It doesn't really matter much in this case because we're just putting a rover down. And we can drive all over the moon then. The Mun moon. So we're just waiting for this maneuver mode-y thing here to get in position. It's kind of a big ship yet, but we're going to be blasting off these three tanks here pretty shortly, and that will leave the other tank full, which is a good thing. I've been using that technique on my first stage boosters instead of building high, up and down. I've been building outward, and you pump the fuel into the tank preceding it and then dump it off, and you got a full tank. And it seems to be cheaper, and it seems to work really, really well. So just the technique that I learned, I think it's something they call asparagus staging, but I don't think it's quite exactly that. But I like it, so it's something that I'm going to continue to use on my future endeavors here. So when these three tanks go, I end up with a full tank of fuel. Now, how can you beat that? You can't. So, we're just cruising on out here. We got Jebediah, Bill, and Bob. The three musketeers, our brave soldiers. They don't seem to be smiling too much at the moment, though. Not sure why. Maybe they didn't bring enough crackers. Could be. But we're getting pretty close here now. It's not a very big burn. You should be able to get to the Mun pretty easily by now, even if you're in career mode. If you're building rovers, I would think you're well into career mode. And when it comes to my Kerbals, money is no object. I do not like stranding Kerbals. Just goes against my practices. So hopefully I got enough fuel to get them down and get them back. But I'm using these little tiny engines on my lander stage. I've never really used these before, but I know they don't thrust a lot, but they sure are fuel economical. But now anyhow, I'll go ahead and focus on the Mun, and let's see what kind of entry we have here. I'm going to get rid of that maneuver. I won't know where I am. Not too bad. So we'll just do a correction burn here in like 4 minutes, I guess. Looks like we got to pull it up a little. And it's coming in too. Let's go a little more. That's better. 118. We're going to cut that down a little. That could be around 50. guess. That stage that's left is using the skipper engine, and it's pretty potent. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to here and I'm going to use my thrust limiter, and I'm going to knock some of this down. I don't know, we'll go to about 50 roughly, and I'll leave that up there so I don't forget to change it back when I go to do my orbital burn. But we'll be able to see the gold line here. It should come right around, and notice the nice curve we have. You always want to try to get that curve. You're using the gravity to help you turn, and well, it'll take a lot less delta V to actually get into orbit. So I'm going to time warp up a little bit here. That's close enough for government work. We'll go ahead and burn. Not a very big burn. You can see the gold line coming in. And I'm not even looking at the numbers now. I'm just looking at my Paris insignia there. And when I get close to the other one, I'll just hit my throttle cutoff key like that. And we should be pretty close. There we are, 42. That's very good. So now we're just going to use the, I always use this when I can, the warp here feature. It's really good because you don't have to mess around with the times, and you don't have to worry about speeding past your point or anything. So we're just going to do the burn to go into orbit, and this should not be a very big one. Obviously, burn retrograde. And when you see them spin around, you know you're pretty circular. Pretty circular. And this is, it's claiming it's a 57-second burn, which seems a little excessive to me, but I guess it is what it is. But if it's a 57-second burn, then I'm going to want to, I would actually like to shoot about 30 seconds early. I try to split the difference. If it says, 60, then I'm going to want to fire it like 30 seconds, like right now. If you have to burn too long and you get too far past Paris there, you won't get a good orbit if you get one at all. So, something to keep in mind. Try to split the difference. Okay, I guess you could burn, if it's a 6-minute burn, you could burn 6 minutes early, but that's a little bit too much for me. That's close enough. It should be fairly round. 44, 29. 29's a little bit low. Which way are we going around? This way. Well, it'll be a quick burn. I'm just going to go to retrograde here. I don't really care where I set down. I'm going to leave my burn a little bit long and then use that engine to pick my spot, more or less. Okay, that's good. So, get back to the other screen here. I've got about half a tank. I really need this engine here to kill some of this speed, because these tiny little engines that I have on here, these little orange thingies, I don't even remember what they're called. They're really fuel efficient, but they do not produce a lot of thrust. So if you're trying to slow down or something, that can be a project. So I'm counting on this stage to kind of take away most of my speed. We'll see how it goes. I better look at this map. Where am I here? See, I'm coming up to an area here that looks fairly flat. That's kind of how I do it. This is version 1.3, and there are no mods on this game. MechJeb is an awesome tool, but if you've learned to hand fly your ship, you'll find out you can usually do better than MechJeb does. But kudos to, I think his name is Siberian, I want to say, for getting people fixed up with the mech jet, but learn how to fly your ship. That's what I say over and over and over again. Learn how to fly your ship. Still at 25,000. I'm kind of looking ahead here. I really don't want to come down in a crater if I can help it. That would not be my first choice. So if you turn your screen right like this, it's pretty much right below you. So you can see where you're coming down. I guess I'm kind of shooting for this area right up here. It looks like the flattest thing that I see. So I'm going to go ahead and burn. Got a lot of velocity to kill off here. And if it looks like you're going to stop too soon, if you're looking down, then you just back off your throttle and let it coast for a little bit. Or you can also, turn left and right a little bit to kind of change your final destination there. And I'm going to let this thing coast just a minute here. I think I'm about over that crater. And I'm shooting for this area. Go ahead and throttle back up. This big motor takes it off really, really quick. Still at 21,000. So I'm pretty high yet. I still have a little bit of fuel. Where are we on the big map? Yeah, we're just getting over that last little crater there. Still at 20,000 though. It's going to be a long journey down here, I guess. Oh well. It is what it is, right? Just go ahead and burn, get rid of the rest of my speed, and we'll start falling down. And, oh, I can't really tell yet. I think I'm over them craters. Looks like I am. Still have a little bit of fuel in this tank. This is also the first time I've ever used action groups. I have 4 solar panels up there, and instead of having to click on them one by one like this, you just set it up in the vehicle assembly building on an action, and you can hit your, like I'm set up on the number 1 key, and I hit the number 1 key, and all 4 of them will open by themselves. I'm going to turn my lights on here. I think we still have plenty of juice. I'm not going to bring them solar panels out till we actually get down on the mun there. So we're just kind of falling here. Speed's coming up. I don't want it to get too high because those little tiny engines just, they don't thrust. They're just, I'm used to using the, I think it's the T45, the swivel motor. And I really like that engine. It's versatile, and it's just it's a good motor. But I thought I'd experiment around. I do want to get these Kerbals back. I don't like stranding Kerbals, and I want to make sure I do have enough fuel to get them back home. But if I figure if I can get down, let's say a half a tank of fuel, that I'll have enough fuel to get them back. But I'm not going to waste this fuel. I'm going to burn it until there's no fuel left. We're at 12,000. I would expect the elevation to be 3,000 to 3,500. I do wish there was a way I could tell exactly how high I am. I'm pretty sure there's a mod for that, but this is an unmodded game, and that's how it's going to stay. So, I'm feeling we're out of fuel now. We are. You can see how fast it comes back up. Let's get rid of this stage. I do like the way these engines sound. They really sound badass. Better get my gear down. And hopefully I set this up right. You can see that my rover is completely off the ground there. I don't know what that was all about there. Turn around. Don't need to be going quite that slow yet. I'm still up there. 10,000 meters. Just got to be careful with these engines because, like I said, there's not a lot of thrust and you can't afford to let it get too high on you, or you're not going to be able to get it back down again. I'll let it go, I don't know. I'm still thrusting a little bit, but my speed is just going up, up, up. I do have, it seems like, a lot of fuel. 35, I'm going to let it bring it back down. As you see, it's very slow to react. So you definitely want to plan ahead if you're using these little, I don't know, is this the Twitch? I don't know if this is the Twitch or the, I don't remember. All these different names they got. I mean, I know the main cell and the skipper and the T45. I almost never use the one that's close to the T45. I think it's the Reliant, I think. I almost never use that engine. I don't know why, but I just don't. So, personal preference, I guess. Just gonna let it slow down a little bit. We're at 86. I'm not seeing any rocks yet, so I'm not super worried here. Yet. They're definitely coming down quick. And it looks like we are not going to be in any craters, so, you know, they can hit on the side of a hill. The other feature that I really like is the rotate feature, because what I do is I set my landing gear up and then I use the rotate feature and I spread the stance out wider, and it makes for a lot more stable platform. Makes it a lot easier to land. Normally I only use 3, but in this particular design I had to use 4. I can see some rocks down there now. I guess 4 is more stable than 3. I could have probably put maybe a gear here and a gear here below them engines, but I didn't. So we'll see. I have a feeling it's going to be stable enough. Just gotta watch I don't let my speed get too high there. Because as you see, it just takes a week and a month. I'd hate to hit it 35 or 40 meters a second. I have a feeling that the landing gear aren't quite just for that amount. I did set everything up to max on them. The spring action or whatever, and the travel. Do I have a clue what difference that makes? No, not really. Would seem a stronger spring would be better, but why would I want a softer spring? I would just go to a different gear. I don't know exactly. But we do have our lights on, and I imagine we're fine in the batteries because in Kerbal you have alternators, which are not in real spacecraft, but they're in Kerbal, so I'm going to take advantage of them. I'm pretty slow here. I'm daydreaming around. I would assume we're within 1,000 meters of the surface there. Would be my guess. I'm kind of just trying to keep it at about 10 here. .3. I'll probably slow down in a few seconds. There. 10, I guess it's slowly coming down. That's good. At 42. Can't be too far down there. I'm watching the fuel. I mean, if I get down with a half a tank, then I'm pretty convinced that I'll be able to get my Kerbals back home. But pretty much I'm just going to set the rover down to show you how I did it. I'll put Jebediah. It is a 3-passenger rover, so they can all climb in at some point. But I'm just going to put Jebediah in there for you to see proof of concept here. And the other thing that I certainly recommend for the rover is to hit that F5 key, one of the best keys in the game. So if you crash your rover, you can always hit your return to the game thingy there, or if you happen to drive 10 million miles down on the Mun and you want to get back in a hurry, you can just smack that save game key and be back home. And this isn't Kansas, Dorothy. 3,000, they can start to see the rocks come in. Traveling certainly a little bit faster than I want to be. Don't want to hit at that speed. And the ship is rocking around a little bit. I do have RCS on this ship, but I know if I turn it on, it'll be even more unstable. So I'm just going to try to set it down without that. I'm hoping we're pretty flat ground, which it looks like possibly we are. At least as flat can be. No, it's not that flat. Minmus is the place. I'm going to go over there and do Bonneville Salt Flat speed runs and see how fast I can really get this rover to go. And I am a little curious as to if this exact rocket will be able to fly to Minmus, which I think it will. Minmus takes about the same amount of fuel as the Mun does, but again, that'll be a proof of concept thingy. You should see my lights on the surface. There they are. Tells me, I use that kind of as my indicator as to how high I really am. 3.4. And we are down. That was easy, huh? So, let's extend let's hit our action key. Get all our solar panels out here. And why do these guys always end up on the dark side? Doesn't matter what I do, they always end up on the dark side. So we got a couple ladders. I don't want Jebediah dropping down on the rover. I'm not quite sure how much a Kerbal weighs or what that would do to my rover. So we'll just have Jebediah climb on down here rather than jumping, because it looks like he would jump right into my rover, or his rover. It wouldn't be a good thing. Guess we gotta let go, huh, dude? Now you can jump down. So walk under there. Get on board, dude. I'll get him over there. Is there RCS out there, buddy? I'm gonna back up a step. Let's go ahead and get up there. And go ahead and climb in the driver's seat. And he is in. So now we'll drop this rover onto the ground here. And it is down. The rover is down. Let's go ahead and drive it out. And there it is. It is a 3-passenger, but I'm only going to put Jebediah in there for the time being. Turn on my other action key and get our panels out here so we don't run out of juice. And I'm going to hit my... Oh, I got to stop this thing before I can hit F5. can't be moving. So now I've quick saved so that in an emergency I can always get back. And I'm too close to set this as target. What you want to do is I'm going to go a little bit further up here just so I can show you this. Oh, there's our coupler. And I've only got 2-wheel steering here, not 4. I didn't think it was necessary, and from ground test it tends to make it a little bit squirrely. So, you know, and certainly I always want to test your rovers on the ground, obviously, before you go all the way to the Mun or some other location and find out there's a flaw in your design, which is not a good thing. Let's see if we're far enough now to actually show you that I still can't target it. Yeah. Anyhow, if you do, if you get far enough away that you can actually set the lander as your target, then it shows up on your nav ball. So no matter how many circles you're driving around in or whatever, you can always get back to home base there. And Jebediah, I'm sure you're having a blast here, huh, buddy? Yeah, you're kind of smiling, aren't you? Yeah, you're starting to cook here. We have a communications device on there, but I don't think we're going to be doing any communicating. Jebediah, it looks like you're about to drive off of a cliff. And I thought I saw the ship there. There it is, Rover 1 ship. I'll set that as target. And now you see on my nav ball that I have anti-target and target. Now it means I'm driving directly away from the ship at the time being, which I can't really see anymore. But if I turn around and come back at the target, it just helps in your navigation, obviously. Go ahead and turn around, head back to the target there. See a little bit to the left. Just going to center the ball like you would if you were docking. Let's go ahead and get some speed up here. Not too much, Jebediah. Take it easy, buddy. There's the ship. So as you see, we're coming right back at it. So, I would say that our proof of concept here is pretty good. I thought about putting a roll cage on, or some way to turn it over if I happen to actually flip it. It's kind of hard to test that back on Kerbal because, you know, you got high gravity. Now, I don't know, obviously if you're on Midwest, but the problem is the Kerbals can actually walk right through some of this stuff. And it makes it impossible for him to flip it over. But as you see, our rover works. It's fairly stable. I haven't super tested it, but I will. And I'm going to end this one here. And I'm going to probably do another one just to prove that I can get this ship back to Kerbal with all of my Kerbal knots intact. So, I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe you learned something. Don't drink and drive. Don't do too many drugs. Have fun playing Kerbal Space Program. And this is the Evil Red Queen, signing off.